Hello everyone. We're continuing our study in the book of Acts. We're finishing up chapter 23 today. And if you remember yesterday, the commander has been told by Paul's nephew that there's this group of men that are trying to kill Paul. And they've taken this oath that they're not going to eat until he is dead. And so at the end of the section from yesterday, the commander said, don't tell anyone about this. And so today, as you're reading, you see the commander, he writes this letter to the governor, and he gathers 470 men to protect Paul, and they move him first to Antipatris, which is about 30 miles away, and it's a military base. And so you see that he's being protected for the evening, and then the next day they continue the other, approximately 28 to 30 miles to Caesarea. And so Paul has been taken there, and then the governor looks over the letter and says, yeah, I'll hear his case tomorrow. And so that's what happens in the text. And I kind of wonder, are those guys getting hungry yet? Because things haven't worked out the way that they've wanted. And so as I read this, though, there's two things that kind of jump out. The first thing is kind of the letter that the commander writes. He talks about these things that he did for Paul. And yes, it's true he did some of those things, but he also didn't find out that he was even this Roman citizen until he was about to flog him. So kind of made himself look a little bit better than he was. And I'm just kind of reminded that, in all the things, we should live with integrity and speak truth and not try to paint ourselves looking better than we are. And God will work out the rest. And so just make sure you're being truthful with all of your words and not even omitting certain things. And so it's not technically a lie, although really we're not telling the complete truth. The other thing that I see as I look at this small section of scripture is simply that God was in all of it. Like sometimes we can be so involved in a situation that we don't see how God's hand has been everything. But if you take a step back, you can kind of see what God has been doing. And so in this moment, you take a step back and you see that God was protecting Paul and was making this way that he could begin his journey. And again, there's going to be a moment that Paul doesn't live anymore, that he does go up to heaven, he's killed. But for this time frame, God still has a plan of wanting this to happen. And so maybe in our lives, you're so close to the situation. Maybe it's something with your family or something with work or something with, you fill in the blank, that sometimes it's tough to see God until you take a step back and you see how his hand has been working up to this point. And then you can say, God, I am thankful for that and ready to see where you take me from there. So maybe today, just take a moment and stop and think about, God, how are you in all of this, whatever this is, and see maybe what his plan is. Have a great day.